official round of applause. We have the legendary, not the first time though, but the legendary Atlantic Starr in the building. Yes. It's always a pleasure. I know Damon's not here, but you know, Damon definitely proud of you guys as an alumni of Woodland High School. He always bigs y'all up. And everything y'all do, man, y'all just keep giving back to your community and representing the community. We've showcased you a few times in the Black Westchester in the newspaper. I'm just proud to like be affiliated with you, just to know y'all, and you know what I'm saying. So, just hats off to for everything y'all do. And y'all got
a lot, bro.
Thank you, y'all got and I don't know if y'all been on since the official renaming of Tarrytown, that section of Tarrytown Road.
Yeah, Old Tarrytown Road.
Old Tarrytown Road.
Mm-hmm.
I pass it every month when I'm dropping off papers at the town hall.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When we get to that corner, I see it every month.
Atlantic Starr Way.
Yes. Yeah. So, when the street was named, y'all had a street renaming, and I think y'all were blessed with an Atlantic Starr Day as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And and y'all have a celebration for it coming up. So if y'all can introduce who you are and your names and talk about the upcoming event and all that.
Okay, I'm Wayne Lewis.
I'm Jonathan Lewis.
And I'm Steve Lewis, the younger brother of these guys.
All right. That's what's up. So start with Atlantic Starr Way. I guess that first and day came the same time, or was the street first and then the day?
The day came first.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the street came.
Okay, so talk about that. What that felt. I've had this conversation with y'all offline, but the city you from, you know,
right.
I know. And I talked to one of y'all. You know, I used to be an artist too, so you know I've been around the world and everything. But sometimes when your city does something from you where you from, it's even bigger than like some of the awards you get from associations and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because that's home.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? So
right.
how did it feel when your home decided to name a day after you and then rename a street for y'all?
Well, it was really.
I need you to pull your mic.
Okay.
Just pull it to you. Yeah.
It was really, great. It was very humbling. It was an honor to be recognized, after all the years of us doing what we do.
And still doing what you do.
And still doing what we do, exactly. And coming back, the fact that, the town would do it. We had advocates at Town Hall. Paul Finer is a great supporter of the Atlantic Starr Group.
Great supporter of Black Westchester too. He writes a column every month. Yeah.
Judy Paville, and then the rest of the Greenberg town board. So.
Oh, and real quick, I'm sorry. Shout out to Tahir Dupree Chase. Greenberg superintendent. Yeah. She's tuned in. She's checking out the show right now. So.
We can't forget about our girl.
Yes.
Greenberg superintendent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she's doing an incredible job for the district, and we're blessed to have somebody of her caliber there that really cares for the kids. And so it's an honor. Again, just being from Greenberg. A lot of talent came up out of Greenberg, and again, to have the day, which is September 26th.
Right.
But the show will be on
days.
the 27th.
26th.
And then it was about 7-8 months later, I think it was June, when we had the street naming. So that was quite an emotional and moving night, to say the least.
Yep.
So we also had to talk. I mean, real music lasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying, it's the 30th anniversary this year of my first single, and people are still playing it and talking about it. And sometimes people don't want to hear about artists that made a record 6 months ago. So I know to still be performing and I know that's got to be an incredible feeling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I met her, and we just got actually Donna Nolan. Shout out to her. She's the young lady. Her son was the baseball player upcoming baseball player, got killed 2 years ago in the Burger King parking lot in Yonkers.
Right.
Wow. She said, "Good evening, AJ and Dr. Bob," and she said, "Wow, always was my wedding song." Yeah. So so and I hear a lot every time y'all come on. I hear a lot of that. That's like a big wedding song.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was. all over the world. It did a lot for us.
Yeah, actually,
Still
we did.
does.
I'm sorry, John. Actually, we did the town board, or they presented at the town board, and George Latimer was there.
Yes.
And it's funny because he came in and he said, "Yeah, always." He said, "But Secret Lover," and he
Right,
started
right,
just
right,
naming
right,
the songs. I said, "George, you know."
Right.
I said, "You the county exec, and you know the songs like that."
Right.
But yeah, he knew them all.
Right.
He
Yeah.
knew them all. So, and then he said you couldn't go to a wedding in the '80s without hearing that song as somebody's wedding song. So that was a huge one.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was.
y'all definitely get love. It's from elected officials to locals. I mean, from everybody, and y'all are y'all are legends for it. Like Damon always talks about, to see somewhere people from where he came, where he grew up. You know what I'm saying? And he
Right.
knew, I guess, one of the younger brothers. I'm not sure who's.
Yeah, he went to school with me.
Okay, it was you. Yeah, and he said, he would always be at the house and he didn't even know, that y'all was really doing. Then he saw a video of y'all. He was like, hey, on the TV. He was like, he always tells that story. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do y'all, now talk about the celebration. What's coming is the celebration is at the,
Doubletree Hotel in
Okay.
Terrytown, New York.
okay, now tell us about that. Talk about the whole celebration, why y'all doing it, when it is, what is it going to be about. I know, Stephen said so when we had the Yonkers mayor on last week, and he said some of the proceeds are going to the sharing community in Yonkers, which is a homeless shelter. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And and the mayor of
Right.
Yonkers thanked y'all, and,
Right.
and also was a big fan of yours. He said last week he was very happy to hear that y'all were coming on the show this week.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great, man.
Yeah.
Well, first, and then I'm gonna let Stephen give you more information because he's really doing a great job putting this stuff together for us. But we're in the midst of a world tour,
Wow.
and we just came back from European stuff, or France and UK and everything, and then we did more dates here. So it was so perfect because we're stumbling right up on Atlantic Star Day. So we said what we're going to do is sweep through town, do that whole celebration, and then when Stephen tied in, it was about Woodlands High School students giving back, and so we said, no, absolutely, we got to tie that in to the show. That's where we're from. Our parents and friends and loved ones and community gave to us. This is perfect to give back. So that whole merging came together. So proceeds from the gold and platinum packages are going to go to the scholarship fund, Woodlands High School Scholarship Fund. But the actual celebration is the next day after Atlantic Star Day, on the 27th, Thursday night at the Doubletree Hotel in Terrytown. And there's an after party proceeding following the concert. And it's just going to be great, man. It's going to be like the whole town of Greenburgh. Actually, Westchester is almost like family.
Right.
So it's like we're getting together with family. We can't wait to see. It's always great to see all these faces you haven't seen forever. And then, a lot of people you've never met, but they're from where you're from.
Right.
But they've always loved and supported the music. So I want to see all these people. I want to make sure everybody. And even people are coming in from California. They're coming in from Atlanta. I think somebody's coming in from Vegas. They might even be coming internationally.
Right.
So it's not just a Westchester thing. It's everybody. And when we promote, we try to do a whole, whoever we know around the world, come and be a part of this.
I know, I met y'all the first time y'all showed up on the show, but I've always thought like y'all were extended family of mine. I've worked with some of your family, your nephew, and for the life of me, his name escapes me right now.
Tehran?
Yes.
okay.
And I think Brian Marable, you relate to Brian?
Mm-hmm.
Brian? Yeah, I worked with him, and I was a part owner of his Conscious Brothers clothing that he had. So we worked together.
Yeah, Tehran and Brian are cousins.
Right. Oh, Tehran and Brian. are cousins.
Yeah.
Okay, so I knew there was a link there somewhere. So
Right.
I've always heard about about y'all. And Tehran is an incredible producer in his own. It's a shame. I don't know if he's ever had anything actually come out, but I know I've heard his production. He's an incredible.
Yeah, he's
You
working
have a
on stuff.
talented family. I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's an incredible. I really wish him the most success, and I wish that some of the stuff we was working on had come out. Some of the stuff we were trying to collaborate on.
right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's been doing it. I was working with him in the '90s. So you know what I'm saying. So he's been
right.
doing this thing for a minute. So
Right.
so shout out to them too as well. Anything? If anybody wants to buy tickets or for, where do you go? What
For
do you do?
tickets and information, you can email us at firstchoiceentertainment914@gmail.com. And again, that's firstchoiceentertainment914@gmail.com. And I think you have. Let me just give you a phone number too, AJ. I think I handed you a flyer. And the phone number that they can call is 914-230-5002. And
Say that one more time for everybody.
914 230-5002. And we're about 5 days out, and things is moving. So, guys, get your tickets.
So the last time you were on, you're about to drop a new CD, Metamorphosis. It's been out. How's it doing? Has it been received the way you wanted? Still making albums after all. I mean, I'm dating myself. Albums. Still making albums after all these years.
Yeah.
Well, it's progressively moving. I mean, we're doing it ourselves, so it's
Right,
not like
right.
this big
Well, that's always the
machine
best
or
way.
conglomerate
Yeah.
behind us. So we're not under any type of constraints, and we don't feel rushed. We're just basically, letting the album grow. It's doing good in the international market, in Japan and England, and we're working on a deal in Japan right now, licensing deal for some, to do a separate situation over there. From some of the songs off the record, so it's starting to take legs. It's moving.
I want to piggyback on something you just said, and we try to educate people. And a lot of our young people want to get into entertainment.
Right.
When you're with a record company, I had put out a book some years ago, and I got frustrated that it didn't push off like that first month, because belonging to a record company, or if you're putting out a movie, if you're not moving it, in the beginning, right away, you either further down or you don't get as much promotion, and sometimes labels drop you, and movies get not in the movie theater no more.
Right.
But when you do it yourself, you know what I'm saying? One, you have more control, you get more money of it, and two, it doesn't have the same effect. It's not just dead if it doesn't blow up the first month. Right. You know what I'm saying? It continues in its progression. And I just want you to speak on that and educate, those who's trying to get in the business and do it themselves these days. The power of doing it yourself.
Well, one of the things when you're doing it yourself, that knocks out the politics.
Absolutely.
And you can place the stuff anywhere you want to place it, as long as you have the means to place it there.
Right.
Now, of course, as we all know, it takes a lot longer unless you have a substantial amount of funds. But when you do it yourself, you put it wherever you want to put it. You take your time. Nobody's giving you deadlines. Nobody's saying if you don't have this by this time, we're cutting it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you also, it makes you hands-on with everybody that you deal with, and you build relationships. And then each place you travel, and it helps, like us, we're fortunate because we have a fan base already.
Right.
So whatever country we find ourselves in, all the DJs and all the people who run the industry come to meet us. And so we don't have to go through all these channels to get them the CD and to promote it. They're dying to do it anyway. Right. So it's a great thing. Now, as far as the kids first starting out in the U.S., it's going to be a lot more difficult if you don't have a fan base yet when you're trying to do it yourself and you're not tied into
the machine.
Thank you for that. I was trying to think of the right word without being too political.
Right, I know.
If you're not tied into those folks, it's going to take a lot longer. But you can build your fan base. Just make sure what you got is crushing. Get your YouTube page, get your Facebook, Instagram, all of that, social media. And especially kids, I know, I see them all the time, how they gravitate to all something has to do is click.
Right.
It doesn't have to be the most progressive or musical or what.
Absolutely.
You just have to have something that clicks with them and a certain charisma that clicks with them. And that's how it works, especially with the younger crowd, and then it's on. Just make sure you know how to do your business correctly, and don't just slack.
Right. Now I want to when I came out and when y'all came out, which was a lot before us. I came out in '88. Y'all came out a lot, earlier. I don't want to date y'all, but y'all came out a lot earlier. We had to be part of a machine to reach the world, and you no longer have to do that now.
Right.
You could actually create something in your basement, on your computer, through social media, and reach the world now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no way if we didn't sign to a machine, we couldn't reach the different countries. We couldn't reach all over this country. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes
right.
all over the state. You know, so how have you, with the longevity, which a lot of people wish they had the longevity, how have you adapted and incorporated that into what you do? Not change, but incorporate the best of that into what you do to continue your longevity.
Well, it's with us. The music always spoke for itself.
Absolutely.
We didn't have a lot of, how should I say, visual frills. But what we did have was music, and I think our music had the ability to seep into the hearts and minds of people, and we were doing like solid songs, lyrically sound, musically sound, and it was a perfect marriage. And I think that's what really that's what really got us out there, and that's what continues to keep us out there, is people want to hear those songs. The old stuff along with the new stuff, and the new stuff is still growing, like we were discussing a little earlier. But the traditional Atlantic Starr sound it's an institution now, and people just don't know it here, but they love it and appreciate it all over the world. In some places, it's crazy. Like when you go to Japan and London and Europe and places like that, where you wouldn't think it's hyped as it is until you get there, and it's like, wow, you feel like you get Michael Jackson status. So
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the music. That's what it is. It's the music.
And I find too that we all find that when we travel around the world, it's like the whole world loves music and loves art, no matter how trends change.
Right.
America is its own little place where it's so political, and so fickle with people's music and talent. But when you're born here, you think the USA is the only place.
Right.
So you get caught up in that whole game. But when you travel, they love you just as much today as they did yesterday.
Absolutely.
And again, they love all types of art and painters and sculptures and just,
The full gambit.
the photographers. And like right now, nobody wants a photographer because everybody shoots on their iPhone. And
Right.
people are going, you're missing the whole point. I'm looking for an artist who has that eye to capture something that you're not going to capture on your phone or whatever. But we've lost that whole artistic thing. Everything is politics, instant dollars and cents. But that's so good for us because we're still artists. So whenever we travel around the world, that's where we get more love.
Dr. Bob has a question. I can see you.
Yeah. I mean, firstly, guys, I got to tell you that I'm sure I speak for an entire generation of people when I say that your music was quite literally the soundtrack of our youth. I'm just over 50 now, and increasingly I find myself struck by feelings of nostalgia. And some of your music comes back for me and sort of, revivifies those times.
Right.
And, I think about myself and my relationship to music, and I must say that that the sound of that generation instilled in me, at least, a little bit of the romantic.
Right.
Because your music was certainly about love in an unadulterated and unapologetic kind of way.
Right.
And I wondered, are you still making music that treats love as a prominent theme, and how does it resonate with younger people, and especially here, I think, as a man?
Right.
The difference between myself in term as a man, in terms of how I relate to love and loving a woman versus a younger generation of men for whom I think, you know, feelings of romance and you know,
it's all about hitting skins and stuff
Right,
like that.
Right.
Yeah, with to some degree now the music I think has numbed people. It's almost like a drug or opiate or something, you know, where it's done something to numb the feelings because, you know, everything is so quick and quick fix, and there's a lot of negativity going on and violence and so on and so forth, and that's what a lot of the kids feed into. They you know, everything has got to be hyped. But what I do see with some of the artists like that are cutting through, the younger artists that's bringing the old school thing back.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you see like artists like Bruno Mars.
Right, definitely. Mm-hmm.
You know, he's captured the essence of the past, and he's been able to assimilate the past with the new, and I think that's what makes him so unique. I really like his music, you know. And there's other artists that are doing it. I'm terrible with names, but when I hear the songs, it's like, yeah, I like that, you know.
Got you.
But I feel that music is starting to revert back. I really feel that people are getting in tune again. And, you know, I mean, how much can you sell negativity, you know, and degrading women and, you know, and glorifying drugs and murder and all that stuff? That plays out after a while, you know. And so what we've noticed when we go out and play and we do shows, you can actually feel the vibe of the people where they appreciate the fact that they can come and bring their families to a show and not only be entertained but really taken back, that, you know, have that moment where they can relax and just enjoy themselves. You know, it's not all this, you know, agitation. You know what I'm saying?
Let me cut in a little bit because I want to ask you a question. Like, and I've had this conversation. I think we've talked about it before too. The music, and then a lot of people don't talk about it. First off, a lot of music is put out for a reason to control our youth and the negative aspects and stuff.
Doubt.
Talk about the power of music, the power with the positive music, what it does. Like if you listen to a lot of gospel music, you just can't help but to feel inspired.
Right.
If you listen to a lot of gangster music,
Right.
you just can't help but to, you know, you have
Feel
that mind frame.
destructive and
So talk about the power of
Well,
music and how the powers to be sometimes utilize that against our youth. I know that's something you.
Let me answer his question first. As far as the new Metamorphosis CD is concerned, we don't exactly know yet. We have to wait and see, because the 2 or 3 songs that's been taking notice thus far have been like It's Party Time is about it's like a house song, and it talks about your life, working your fingers to the bone, making nickels and dimes, and mad with your boss, and just life is just frustrating. So take all of that out to the dance floor and get it off your back. Don't let it take you out. Don't give up. Don't let the powerhouse be victorious in your life. You overcome that. So it's not really a love song. It's a life song. And then we have another song called "This Is My Life." It's for the youth. And when they chant it, they hear the beat first. It's like hip hop.
Right.
And after they chant it enough, they don't realize they'll be singing about themselves.
Well, my best friend,
getting their act together.
that was the first single, so that was like the love song.
Yeah. My best friend is like a universal love song for whoever it was that held you down in life. It could be your grandmother. It could be your best friend. It could be anybody that, you know, that held you down and believed in you and took care of you. And that's as loving as you can get when you talk about universal love or God's love. But as far as the typical love songs of Atlantic Starr, we have yet to see how they're going to relate to this stuff, because we believe we found the sweet spot between the old Atlantic Starr and saving the integrity of all of the melodicness and the musical orchestrative arrangements and all the stuff and the performances, but staying up to date with what they relate to as far as beats, updated sounds, the swagger of certain stuff that you do. So we combined it. We think we found the sweet spot.
Right.
But I've actually heard young people admit to me, right standing there talking to me, that they want to do some good stuff and they admire some stuff we did, but they really believe in their hearts if they don't go along with the guidelines with all the negativity and the cursing and the degrading and all that stuff, that they won't sell. They won't.
Well, sometimes the
They'll be
labels
whacked.
won't.
That's
The labels won't promote them.
And
Because
they know
there
that.
is music out there. It's
Right.
just not playing every 22 seconds on the stations where R&B and hip hop supposedly live
Right.
across the nation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah.
Well, it's like you said earlier. Basically, everything is not by chance; it's by design.
Right.
Yep.
And basically, that whole concept started out one way, but then it evolved into something that became extremely negative, and it was directed to us or our folks, and
Right.
basically at our demise, because out of negativity, a whole nother industry gets paid and makes a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what the kids have to realize. Being desensitized causes you to do things that you might not do if you weren't desensitized. And so basically, you have to, it's all by design, and it's it's a lot of greedy and evil folks out there that want to make money
At any cost.
by any means necessary. And basically it comes down to, it's nothing personal, it's just business.
And unfortunately, they will always find one of us who wants to make that money to
Well,
use
there
us
you
to
go.
poison our
They
minds.
hire us to kill us
Right.
for a lot of money.
Right.
But, and then people that do it, they don't let their kids be a part of it.
Right. You know how many gangster raps I heard say, "Oh no, I don't let my kids listen to that,"
Right.
but you let all our kids listen to
Right,
it.
right.
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 I mean,
man.
I wonder the extent to which artistic greatness is in some respects undermined by the pursuit of financial success. Because really, it seems like the best artists always breaking with convention and, doing something new, novel, original. That is not necessarily that's untested in the market. And that if you're not just going to repeat a little bit of what, whoever before you was doing, but really make your mark and create something that's lasting,
Right.
that you have to be willing to put it all on the line.
Well, yeah, it's definitely possible, but in most instances now, with the way the music industry has evolved, it's like mind control for economic gain.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And then again, you say, well, who's benefiting from this mindset?
Right. Let me ask, when you guys, obviously you wanted to make great music.
Right.
I don't know what your financial ambitions were. It seems to me like most of the cats that I know who go into music, their goal is to be that dude. They want to become millionaires, billionaires. They want to. It really is the main measure is financial success.
Well,
And I
I
wondered for y'all how much the financial considerations weigh.
That came later.
That came later. Yeah. It was like, we love what we did.
Right.
Because when we were coming up, we weren't getting paid hardly anything.
Right.
But it was just the hype and the love of what we did, and the love of music, and basically all money should be is the fringe benefits of your hard labor.
Right.
In your integrity. That's what it really boils down to. But it's changed. Somewhere along the way it changed. It went from like going to a splashed out restaurant with filet mignon to just going to McDonald's and having it your way with the quickness.
Right. Wow.
That's a good example. I just want to say too, the early moments of hip hop, we had to prove ourselves in the streets and in the community
Well, what's
and
art
everywhere else
then?
before
Yeah.
we got the privilege of a record deal
Right.
to then go out and then then we had to do a lot of shows and prove ourselves before we actually made some money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now it's like a lot of these artists think a record contract is a birthright instead of a privilege, because
Right.
you know what I'm saying. And it's like we don't have the same thing. They don't have the same
Right.
hustle. It is all about money, and it's all about
Right.
because you can make a lot of money. I mean, now the what they call reality TV now.
Right.
They pay us to show some of the most ignorant elements of our life
Right.
and make lots of money and
Right.
become big stars. You know what I'm saying? Like we're in a time where you become a celebrity for nothing, like with no talent, you just
That's
become
right.
a celebrity.
No
like,
talent at all.
Right, right.
And could be the biggest star in
right,
the world.
right.
And you wonder,
Mm-hmm.
you stop and say to yourself, Black people have always been, throughout the history of the Bible, the Torah, even the Quran,
Right.
there's super intelligent ones, there's super supreme beings of the earth that use their minds and that can. So now we've come into what we call the last days, where the Black community has been dumbed down through all this stuff that we're talking about, and nobody even wants to stop to analyze what's going on here. It's like, how come you give up your whole life, and if somebody even whispers to you or touches you, you'll break their arm if they interrupt you looking at the Basketball Wives or something like that. What is shit? Because it's all about negativity and degrading what our women are about or whatever. The reason why people don't want to even stop and analyze this is because the money aspect. When so much money is being made off of this stuff, it's being forced into our mainstream media, and all these things are stuck on it to attract us and to attract and to relate to our lifestyles, and we forget what they're doing to us.
Well, most of the time
it's-
now it's like we're working off our base nature. Like what they call in psychology, it's like the id, the ego, and the super ego. We're at the base part of our nature. Just working off the five senses, and that's it. Whatever feels good, smells good, tastes good, looks good, and sounds good. That's what I'm gonna do. Without incorporating the other things that the buffers.
Balance.
The balance, and that's where we are. So for us as a people, we got to come back. The most important thing I feel is the spirituality, and that's what
Absolutely.
we had in our music.
Absolutely.
It wasn't even though it wasn't like I would say churchy or this or specific, but it had a spirit to it. The music of the day back then. When you listen
That music
to
has a
Marvin,
spirit to it too, just not the same spirit.
Exactly.
See, I mean, just be
There you
real.
go.
There's spiritual stuff we don't understand. There's things that work in. That's a
Right.
whole nother show. But
Spirits
Right.
are
Yeah,
spirits.
yeah.
And
Right.
so, I mean, when we were growing up, we listened to everything. We were listening to Marvin and Aretha Franklin and James Brown and Stevie, and we were listening to classical and operas and jazz and everything. So the influences were vast, and it was motivational. I think that's what drove us into wanting to be in music, because I remember when we were young, we had this radio on top of our refrigerator, and those are the days when AM radio was big.
Yes.
And when you heard, Cousin Brucey would come on, Cousin Brucey, Cousin Brucey, and they playing the top 40, and it was not just a, black or this or white or whatever. It was everything.
It was the Beatles, and then it was all Motown.
You
Right,
know
right,
what
right,
I'm
right.
saying?
Everybody.
So it was so
The Supremes
inspiring. It
and,
was so.
you know.
it
And even
was,
the era
temptation.
after that, BLS, when my mother used to
Very
turn on
much so.
Saturday morning,
Yeah.
right.
you would hear the Bee Gees
Right.
and Tears for Fears, and you would hear
Right.
Madonna with Stevie Wonder,
Right.
and then the beginnings of the Run DMCs and
Right.
Curtis
With
Blows,
Aerosmith
and you would hear
Run
all
DMC,
that on the same
Yeah.
radio show
Right.
at the same time. And I was just thinking, and the last thing, because we got this conversation for like hours, but I do have a busy lineup.
Right.
But I also one of the things in the early days of when y'all were coming out, when y'all were starting to do your music, when y'all were doing it, and in hip hop, you could tell the artists apart.
Right.
Like all the artists you named, they
Everybody
all had
had
a
an
sound.
identity.
And in my day,
Just got
you
finished
knew
with
it
that
was Big Daddy Kane, you knew it was
Right.
Rakim, you knew it was Run
Right.
DMC,
R&B and Rakim.
you knew it was this one, you knew who
Dougie
it was.
Fresh.
Now it's like Indy Ari
Mhm.
plays a guitar, gets 9 nominations, and the next year everybody gets a guitar player to try to sound like her. Seriously, and it's Beyonce does whatever, so every label looks for a Beyonce.
Right.
You know, Jay-Z moved so many units. So when I came back from Atlanta, I was in Atlanta for 10 years. Came back to New York. While I was visiting, I heard 10 records on Hot 97 that sound like the Lox, the group from Yonkers.
Mm-hmm.
It was none of them were them though. Like, but 10 records that sound just like. I was like, oh, the Lox got a new record. Oh, that's not them. Oh, wait, the Lox got a new record. Oh, that's not them. So you know, I mean,
Yeah.
we've lost our identity,
That's
and
right.
we have allowed them to tell us
That's
what
right.
we're supposed to be.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And,
Right.
and as opposed to us making our own sound and having our own individuality and creating our own thing. And I think that's the difference between the music
Right.
y'all made and I made, you know, to the music that comes out now. So
And AJ, just on the other side, let me just interject. On the other side of that, though, is all of our good music is going to the Sam Smiths and all them guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they really making the money. And
Right,
we,
right.
You know, we scrapping the bottom of the barrel.
Ab-
Right.
Absolutely.
And again, that's by design.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Somebody told us in the black community, somebody stood up in a big podium in the sky and said, black people, the thing that y'all were given, the gift y'all were given from God more than anybody else in the world, the gift of music, forget about that. See, music used to be the most respected thing in America. Musicians used to be
Well,
the
black
most.
music.
Yeah. But musicians themselves, somebody
Musicians.
that can play an instrument.
Well, they started by taking music programs out of schools. We've had that conversation
Yeah.
before too. Like
And you-
I read an article before, and I told you last time we were on. Kenny G said music saved his life and is the reason that he continued. Like when he got bored with school,
Right.
it was music that kept him in school.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't going to school for English and math. He was going to school for music.
Right.
And you see what he became. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's just like,
Right.
you know, so music has saved a lot of our lives. I mean, music is the way we've expressed, you know, that it's the way we express each other. It's always been a form of
That's
expression
right.
between each
That's the
other.
whole thing.
And if you kill off our expression, you know what I'm saying? Like,
See,
like
no, but you're saying what's going on right now.
right.
Well, the thing is,
Same thing. This we talk about this control and everything that's going on.
Right.
It's hard to control people when you still have organic musicians creating, and because when you do musical notes, that's all coming out of you. So spirit comes out of you, and that's that spirit that comes from God that's going out over the people. That's what's trying to be killed. That spirit from God, because you can't control with your agenda. So that's why they're killing all the music, all the great organic singers and musicians. Like when Aretha went, I was like, well, I never thought I'd see in my time, 20th and 21st century, all the great organic heroes all either being killed or dying. And what's left is people that don't even really like music per se. They just like fame.
Music is a lane to something else.
Right.
Not music to be doing music. Like,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right.
I'm music, so I want to be an actor, but you know, I got a little skill here and I can do this. You know, get me my acting career off, or
Get
my
me
fashion
there.
career
Right.
off, or my whatever.
Right.
So I do have to go, and as always, I always want to say y'all are welcome anytime. You know, Steve, you just call up. We get y'all in because we can have these conversations, and I would like to have more of these because where it was going, if we continued, it was about to get real deep.
Well, what I was
gotta
going to
have
say
him here
before
for
I
that.
leave is this. What people have to understand is this. Black music made the music industry what it is globally. The English boys that picked it up from Muddy Waters and B.B. King and likes of those artists made millions and millions of dollars. But what they will admit, when you talk to the Stones, when you talk to Eric Clapton,
Elvis
Elvis
was imitating black people. That's what he was.
Well, the guy that Elvis got his the stuff from, and I can't remember his name, was a carbon copy. And next time I run into you, I'm going to bring the music so you can hear it. But all I'm saying is black music is what drove the music industry and made it what it is globally.
Well, I love to have these conversations because it gets us out of the politics and politicians and corruption. But I gotta let y'all. What's the event? What's the date? Where's the place? Phone number? How I can get a ticket? All that. If there's anything online, website or anything.
Yeah, the website again is firstchoiceentertainment914@gmail.com. The number is 914-230-5002. Doubletree Hotel, Atlantic Star Day Celebration Concert. If you miss it, you're going to really miss something.
And we love black people, white people, Latinos, everybody in the world who's ever picked up Atlantic Star record. We want to see you there. You're our family and adopted family. Make sure you are there. We'll see you there.
Absolutely. And for the CD, for those, because since you're doing it yourself and you don't have a machine promoting you, some people still don't know. What the website, the CD's out. Where can I get it? You know.
Well, at the event, we're trying to have CDs here to sell.
Okay.
At the event.
But anybody listening,
you can
because
go
we have people outside
online.
of Westchester listening too. So
Right. You can go online and into like the sites where you can download it. But I believe Amazon or iTunes
Amazon and iTunes.
all the
traditional
download formats.
Okay.
But what we're realizing
You
that
get a
people
percent.
want CDs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you can't get it from those spots, hit us up on AtlanticStarMusic.com, Atlantic Star fan page, Facebook, and they can
Or
also
Instagram.
or Instagram.
Yes.
Atlantic Star Official.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, Atlantic Star Official. And they can also hit my Facebook page. If they want a CD, let us know, and we'll make sure we get it to them.
Absolutely. I just want to give you all all the credit in the world. Y'all are inspiration to a few generations, not just one. You know, you're across generations. You're across genre. You're across all kinds of things that they try to keep us in a box. Y'all cross all of those things, and y'all are still doing it, and people are still paying to see what y'all created years ago, and still love it. And your work y'all do for the community, giving back to the high school specifically, and all the other things y'all do. And I know you were teaching music or something to teaching people how to write songs. I forgot what you said last time, but I know you were teaching music.
Yeah. Off and on throughout
right.
the year. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to credit y'all and keep y'all going. And I want to say everybody needs to come out to the hotel and support by buying a ticket. All those I can't make it need to go buy a CD and support real music being put out by real musicians, not the industry.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We want good music. We just don't want to pay for it. I spoke at a kid. They may never have me back again either. I spoke to a group of kids and I asked them, what was all the things they complain about artists? I mean, music, right? They named all those things. I named the art. I said, what are the artists that you say are the biggest offenders that put that out? They named it. I said, how many people have music by them? They all had their hand up. I named positive artists who are known, and half of them didn't know who none of them artists was, and half of them, none of them had the records. You understand this music? So we say we want, but that's not what we support.
Right.
So when you have good music, we need to. When you spend your money, that's like making a vote for a candidate. You're making a vote for what you want.
Yeah.
Right.
You're speaking to the industry, showing the industry what you want. You buy real music, and enough real music sells. You know what? They're gonna start selling real music because they want to make money.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
You only support the negative stuff. They're gonna continue to
That's
sell
right.
that because that's what they see makes
Right.
money.
That's right.
So I just
Money,
want to say
money.
that, and I want to congratulate y'all and applaud y'all for
Thank you.
making real music.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
And representing Westchester to the fullest, like every
Right.
But
Welcome,
AJ, I got to
brother.
just shout out to you guys too, you and Damon, man, and this platform.
Yeah.
Because I've watched it grow, man, and you guys are really moving and doing some great things in the community.
Thank you
So,
very much.
I just applaud y'all for serving the community too.
Thank
Right.
you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
It's a
Absolutely.
beautiful thing.
And
Just got to bring the light back, man. We've been in the darkness for too long.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like my brother Wayne and my other brother David wrote this song called Living in Darkness. Got to get into the light, got to open up my eyes and see. And he had a lyric in there that said, I got a phone call from the universe to come into the light. And that's what we
Wow.
do. It's time for the phone call.
Right.
It's time to come out of the darkness. We've been in darkness
We
too
need to
long.
unplug from the matrix.
We got to start loving again.
Right.
and stop fighting those who are trying to unplug us.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
There you go.
So I thank y'all, and like I said, y'all welcome anytime. You know how to get y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all know how to reach me, but
Yeah.
I speak to you the most.
Yep.
Please, anytime y'all want to speak on anything, y'all want to come promote anything, holla, because it's
Appreciate
we
you,
can
man.
definitely in non-political times when we don't have campaigns going on, we can have a
Right.
whole show with just this. Yeah. Good
Excellent.
conversation.
Excellent. All
So
right.
thank you very much.
Thank
and
you,
applaud
thank you, man.
And let me give you official. Ready to go, ready to go. They switched screens
Thank
on
you
me.
very
This
much.
one I just had to touch it with my finger. Like I got to get the little mouse in it. So yeah.
My
Right.
brothers, it
Thanks,
was a
brother.
pleasure, and hopefully we'll